Thank you, Freak. Talking about that Cho'Gath, important for crab control and jungle monsters as well, but also, yeah, also not losing.
Crab control, huh?
Yeah, crab control against the crab got there in the mid lane. So let's talk about that pick, though, against Urgot and why it works.
Urgot, he gives a lot of problems to a lot of champions because he's got 6 appendages. Cho'Gath, he's got 7 because you count the tail as well.
I was expecting real analysis.
No, I
what
mean,
is with this desk? What happened? What happened?
He went over it a lot.
He took Freak's spot.
He went over it a lot in the game. But Cho'Gath is really good because he has one of the only silences left in the game. We took out almost all the silences in the game when we're going after LeBlanc and Talon, all of the assassins. Cho'Gath has one of the longest silences, and they actually left this one in the game. It's so good against mid-range champions. That's why he was often used as counter picks to assassins previously on the previous patch. And it's not like Cho'Gath mid is a crazy new thing that we've never seen before. It's actually a fairly common thing that you see in high ELO solo queue. And he's really good at stuffing those assassins and shutting them down. Anybody who's squishy also gets hit with true damage. So same principles apply to Urgot, plus the laning phase sustain, and as Pobelter mentioned, the recent change where you reduce the cooldown on his ultimate by half when you eat a monster or a minion and kill it, it definitely benefits him.
Yeah, another thing too, like Urgot has really strong matchups against people who are going to try to burst him out because of the fact that he has Zon Touch Bolt Augmenter that reduces their damage. But Cho'Gath negates that with true damage, is a big part of that matchup.
Absolutely, nom people. Now let's talk about, though, how this match affects the rest of the day. Because what's important here is that Winterfox picks up a win, right? Which puts them half a game up on Dignitas. This puts a lot of pressure on Dignitas to beat Liquid if they want to then play a tiebreaker match for their choice in Challenger Team when they move into the promotion tournament.
Yeah, and while Winterfox, they're coming off 2 wins, Dignitas also, they were so happy yesterday after their win, and they are also riding high with a lot of confidence. So this is going to be a very interesting clash at the bottom of the standings where you expect people to be, kind of down and, miserable. All these teams are coming in with, a lot of momentum, actually.
Yeah, and you talked about how they have to beat Liquid first. Both those teams are kind of lopsided right now. The Dig-Liquid matchup, Dig has had some iffy drafts, and then Dig had one of their best drafts yesterday and one of their best games that we've seen them with this roster. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup to look at, and I think that Dignitas can actually walk away with the win there to force that tiebreaker.
Right. This does mean, though, that Winterfox has to refocus going into, later into the day. So interestingly enough, we don't run into too many situations, obviously, or any at all during the regular season where you might have to play a second game in the day. And here you're trying to, one, you have to wait for this other game to play out, take notes on what Dignitas is doing, and then mentally prepare for that game.
Yeah, theirs will be the first tiebreaker, too, because we'll do it in order, as in, like, they'll get 2 games to prep, and then that'll be the first one if there's multiple tiebreakers. Because in this scenario, we have at least 1 tiebreaker today. And then in 75% of the different scenarios, the outcomes, we have 2 tiebreakers. So if you love League of Legends, we have bonus games later on today, guaranteed.
And they should have already been prepping, too. I mean, these teams have to start getting ready for best of series. You can't just ride on best of ones forever, especially if you are going to go to the relegation tournament.
Absolutely. Well, as Irene mentioned, we are guaranteed to have at least 1 tiebreaker today, a maximum of 2 at this point. But don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with our next match, Cloud9 versus Team Solo Mid. The North American LCS returns after this.
When a man loves a woman.
An NA woman, to be specific.
Avalon, it might have been a little late, but he cannot be disabled. There's the dinner bell. He rings it. The food is served.
Server. I got wrecked.
I'm right here.
One server.
Server.
Nice. A shot. 5 on E, 5 on E.
Oh my god.
Varus?
I'm on Urgot.
Urugon to Urugon. Airborne. Okay. Urugon no flash. Urugon no flash.
I'm on Urgot.
I'm watching Lissandra.
I feel.
Slow. I can airborne. Got you. Good.
Helios actually wants to fight. He gets ulted from Chris, then ulted from Glebe. He's still alive. Here comes Avalon from the side. Winterfox is going to pull off the win here versus Coast, bring themselves to 7 and 11.